Hi and welcome to Draw Plans. Today is a bit special because what I want to do is introduce you to the stretch tool. Now if you're like me, you probably don't even know about the stretch tool or what it doesn't do. Well, at least it took me a long time to learn about what the stretch tool was and the benefits of using it. So let me give you a little indication as to what we could use it for. So as like anything, stretch, as the name says, gives you an idea that what it is it's about stretching stuff. So let's just borrow these door and suppose the opening direction for a second. So if I was to do a normal stretch, you can see what you're going to get. Stretch it down, you'd see what you're going to get. But what if I wanted to move the door whilst it's in the wall? Would you know how to do that? Well, the stretch tool allows you to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the stretch tool. Here we are. And we've selected, and I'm going to move the door. So now keep an eye on the door when I do this. I'm going to move the door and the opening. Did you get that? Maybe you didn't see it, so let me do it. Let me move it back. I'm going to move it back so you really do see it. Now if we just check on the door size here, it's 762 standard interior door. So we're going to move it all again, and we're going to use the stretch tool. So we're going to move the actual door plus the door opening, and just check the sizing. As you can see, 762. Everything remains the same. We're moving everything around. Now, that's a brilliant tool for moving doors and windows within the walls where you've already installed them. But it gets better. This stretch tool is such an understated tool. So, for example, here we've depicted a sash window in an outside wall, exterior wall. So again, it takes a bit of time. If you're doing plans for a house and they're all sash windows, you have to make up loads and loads of windows of different shapes and sizes. Or perhaps you don't, especially if you know about the stretch tool. So let's assume that we want to make up another window, but we only want half this size. So let's just find a halfway point here. Okay, so now we have the halfway point. Didn't really need to put that line in. Now, let me get my stretch tools. So, if I did that, you think, oh, okay. Now you see what's happened. These are all these haven't kept their shape. Up here hasn't kept its shape. So nothing's kept its shape. You've reduced the window with a quick shrink, so to speak, but you haven't kept the shape. So what if I did this instead? Let me just select stretch tool, and have I reduced the window? Have I kept my margins? Absolutely. So let's reduce it all the way down to the line here. Okay, what's happened? Kept its margin all the way. So in other words, when you're doing drawings for a house and you're putting in loads of windows, you only need to make one window. You can copy it obviously in from another drawing, or you can make it up. But once you've made it, you can stretch it and make sure it keeps all its proportions, just like so. There you go. It's kept all its proportions. See, it's looking for another stretch. This is a fabulous tool. That's all I can say. And the sooner you learn it, the better. The sooner you use it. So what I want you to do is I want you to get your drawings open. And incidentally, I can pull from anywhere. Yeah, pulse, and I'll show you another way of doing it. So I'm just going to select again. I'm going to reduce the window by tabbing. So now I'm at this position, tab, I'm down here, and I'm going to go minus 300, to reduce the window by 300. So you can do it by numbers, do it by measurements. If you know that the window, for example, is say 2.0, I could do that in half. I could do that, reduce it down to 1000 by tabbing. Oops, that's not held. Stretch, tab, minus 1, 1, 2, 3, and there you go. So this is what the stretch tool is, and it's a bit of magic, but I'm not quite finished with you yet. So for example, you take a door, and you've done a shape or something, and you want to stretch it. Well, let's see what happens when we stretch this. So now we're not going to grab all of it, because it has a different, you get a different result when you grab all of it. So what I'm going to do, what I've done is I've stretched the door. I want to widen the door a little. There you go. Now, of course, the important thing here is that when you use it, you're keeping your proportions correct. So this doesn't change. So for example, if I was to just draw a line here, and I just check the measurement, it's 125 mil. So now if I click off and I go on get my stretch tool, and I stretch this down, see this stayed the same. So in other words, the full and total stretched. Do it again. I'm still in here, so you can stretch it any way you want, but you keep your margins. And that's the beauty of it. So use the stretch tool, learn about the stretch tool, apply it in different situations. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a few more examples here, because here now we have a layout for a top floor of a house, first floor of an ordinary house. And what I want to do is, you see this little nib here? Well, this should be a little bit tighter to the wall. So I'm going to give you an example of how I would do that. So I'd go stretch, and there you go. See, I've just brought it in. So if I click on that, let me just click on that for curiosity and see what the size is. The line is 72. So if I wanted to bring it down to 50, I'd reduce it by 22. So here we go. This is how we do it. So now you tab, minus 22. Oops, a daisy. I hadn't selected the stretch tool. Silly old me. Right, we'll do it again. And stretch tool, select, tab, minus 22. Now we're down to about 50. But the difference on this is it's stretching. The door will remain the same, by the way. The door size, let me just, door size 762, 762, nothing goes out of proportion, everything gets moved. But what's beautiful here is that in, say, a finished drawing, you've got fills going on, you've got your fills within the lines, etc. And it'll move everything for you. So same on the windows, we've got the fill. Watch what happens when we reduce the size of the window using the stretch tool rather than anything else. So I'm going to just reduce this. You see what happened to the fill? The fill changes, everything changes. So there you go, quick intro to the stretch tool, and already I can tell that you'll probably be thinking, wow, crikey, I should have learned this on maybe the first few days I started using CAD, because it's such an understated tool. It really is a tool that I love to use it. I absolutely love to use it for modifications, any kind of modifications. because it's so simple. Just to be able to move a door along a few lines or move the windows. It's the speed, because if you consider that if you had to do this manually, move off the door, cut and copy, move the lines, and instead stretch and move it. It's a fantastic tool. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you get great value out of it. And if you love this tool as much as I do leave a comment. It'd be great to hear from you. And of course, you'll motivate me to keep creating, keep finding the better tools, and keep doing little short videos to teach you how to get, teach you how to work like a pro and really get the best use of CAD. Okay, thanks a bunch. See you on the next video.